You are the only thing that's holding yourself back. You keep letting pessimistic words fall out of your mouth and you don't even try for an opportunity. Why? Oh, because you know that you're not gonna get it. I didn't know that you were psychic, but that's enough of this, okay? You need to shift your mindset and to get out of your own way. Luckily for you, that will be possible by the end of this video. These are the video chapters, and let's get right into the video. I've been around so many different types of people, and it still baffles me when I meet people who are the ones that are in their own way, literally blocking themselves from achieving a better life. I'm hearing excuses like, I'm not talented enough to do this, or I won't get past the first round of interviews, so I just won't try. All of these are excuses. You are allowing fear to be in the driving seat of your own life. You literally handed fear the keys. You handed fear the keys and said, here you go. Take control, make all the decisions for me. Also that you didn't have to experience normal things like disappointment and failure. The most successful people, by the way, failed 100 times and then had their award-winning business idea on the 100th and first trial. And they got there because they didn't stop at the first failure or the first disappointment, which brings me to my first point. You give the concept of failure way too much power. Well, of course, when you view failure as this earth-shattering, mind-bending, life-ending, back-breaking concept, it's no wonder you haven't achieved anything. It's no wonder you don't have any unique personal experiences. And if you continue to do this, if you continue to give fear the keys to your life, you're gonna prove yourself right. You won't get that job. You won't get into that dream school. Remember that the power you have placed in the hands of fear is an illusion. Failure exists only in one context, only in one, and that's the present. But if you give failure so much power over your decisions, you stretch it out, and due to your own misinterpretation of failure, you then force it to exist in the future as well. What do I mean by misinterpretation? I mean, you hear or you see fail, and instead of understanding it as do it again differently or try again, you translate it to don't ever do that again. And so because you translate it as it's done, fail, end of the road, you will not try again. Therefore, failure exists in that context indefinitely. It lives on forever. Because you have decided to give it the power and to give it the keys and to give it the authority to make the decisions in your life. Let's look at runners, Olympic runners. They are successful because they keep attempting to beat their record time. If they run and they go under that record time in training, they just train harder and try again. And what happens? They beat that record time. Do not let your failure stop you from trying or even hoping. Simply see failure as an opportunity to try again or to do it differently. Like I said earlier, you give failure entirely too much power. The power that was supposed to remain in you to achieve that goal, you gave it to failure. It's these impractical distributions of power that are stopping you from achieving your dream life, your dream goals, or even stopping you from dreaming in the first place. Not only did you willingly give failure the power, but you also gave more power to other people and left little to yourself, which leads us to our next point. You trust the opinions of others more than you trust yourself. Someone told you you're not pretty enough to model when you express interest in it. Someone else came along and told you that you aren't smart enough to study maths when you enjoy it. And someone else told you, oh, you probably won't get into that job when you were looking to apply. And you believed them. You believed them. You believed their outsider perception of your ability and your skill, and you let that make your decision for you. You are allowing people's negative opinions to fill and pump your self-perception with junk, and you have given them the power to shut down your plans, to put your own self-development on standby, and they aren't even the ones living your life. They aren't even the ones that are going to live with the decisions that you make. You're making these decisions for other people, but you're the one that's going to have to live and walk it out. Take that power back. Stop surrounding yourself with pessimists or people who don't want big things for themselves or people that have given up. Start working for that goal. Work hard enough, increase your passion daily so that you trust your own ability, your own zeal, and the sweat of your own brow more than the baseless opinions of others on the things that you want to do. Who you listen to is so important, guys. The reason why you are standing in your own way is because you refuse to leave circles or groups of people who fill your head with negativity or limiting beliefs when they're not even in the position that you want to be in. If you want to be a successful CEO, take advice from successful CEOs. Read their books. Find their LinkedIn, message them on LinkedIn. If you want to be a successful runner, find a coach, get specialized training, and receive constructive criticism. Or if you just want to be successful, period, surround yourself with people who also want to be successful. Reason number 3 as to why you are your own biggest enemy is that you do not watch your mouth. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge it will eat of its fruits and bear the consequences of its words. Proverbs 18:21. What does this mean? We're going to break it down for you. Words have power. Your very mouth has power. So whatever words you release out into the atmosphere, be it of life or of death, you will experience the consequence of that word. You keep telling yourself, oh, I'm so dumb, like I've never been a brainiac, I'm not gonna pass that test. And then you're shocked when you don't pass the test. You keep making self-deprecating jokes about yourself, and you wonder why you don't have long-lasting, fulfilling friendships, and why your self-esteem is shot. Oh my gosh, guys, you literally have the power, the authority, and the gift given to you by God through His Spirit to speak life into your situations, to speak life into yourself, to build yourself up, to affirm yourself, and to get to the place that you want to be, to claim a great career, to literally speak that into existence. But you are using that same power of the tongue, that same power that your words have to bulldoze that successful business that you actually had the ability to actualize, to bulldoze the dream of you getting into your dream school that you actually had the ability to get into, but now we'll never know. Now you'll never know, because you literally used your words to cement a deathly ideology and bulldoze the dream, therefore limiting how far you will advance in that particular area. This is what is called a limiting belief. Limiting beliefs, by definition, are false accusations that you make about yourself that can cause a number of negative results. Do you hear that definition? I'm going to say it again in case you didn't catch it. Limiting beliefs are false accusations that you make about yourself that can cause a number of negative results. So now you might be asking, okay, how do I stop making false accusations? How do I stop causing negative results to happen in my life? I'm going to be so honest with you, and it's going to be very blunt. I apologize. Shut up. Literally, stop talking. There's one concept I'm going to need you to apply into your life from now on, and that is the concept of, if I have nothing to say, I'm not going to say anything at all. And stay tuned to the end of this video where I provide you guys with practical things that you can implement to stop you from making false accusations and causing negative results to happen in your life. Why should you change your mindset? Why should you change your limiting beliefs? That's it for the first part of this video. The next part of this video, I'm going to talk about why you should change your mindset. If you're still at this point in the video and you're thinking, why should I change my mindset? Why should I change my limiting beliefs? This is comfortable for me, okay? I don't get to hope and be let down. I don't know. Why should you listen to me and let this day be the last day that you leave your self-perception, your dreams, and your goals in the hands of other people, in the hands of fear, and take one step closer to your dream life? Is that you're not going to lose anything by taking yourself out of the way. Your current strategy, right, if I'm not mistaken, is that you are keeping your expectations low and not striving for anything, so that you don't get disappointed if you don't make it, if you don't get it. And you chose that strategy because you think that you're gaining security, you're gaining control, but all you're gaining is a life full of apathy and a life devoid of soul. By changing your mindset, by you striving for every dream, every passion that your heart desires, big or small, you increase your success rate. You increase your success rate because there are going to be things that you get first try. There are also going to be things that you don't get first try. But you will increase your success rate because you are actually attempting this time. Why should you change your mindset? Because you're going to surprise yourself. And that will teach you that you actually can do anything you put your mind to. You're going to create a track record of goals achieved, and you're going to have rich experiences and memories that will replace what ifs. Yeah, there is a chance that you might not make it the first time round, but there is also an equal chance that you will. Every failure is an opportunity closer to success. And that brings us to the third section of the video. Movie character examples. I'm going to give you an example of one character who had a positive mindset and a positive self-perception. The character who had a positive mindset and a positive self-perception is Legally Blonde's Elle Woods. Now, I mention her in almost every single one of my videos because there are so many lessons to be learned from just that one movie. In Legally Blonde, a sorority girl named Elle Woods enrolls into Harvard Law to win back her ex-boyfriend, but discovers her own potential and excels as a lawyer. She was a blonde, beautiful girl who studied fashion merchandising at another university for her undergrad. And so people looked at her, decided to judge her from the bat, and was just like, you're not gonna get into law school. Her own boyfriend, literally her own ex-boyfriend, told her explicitly, you're just not smart enough. But she got into law school.
Come on, you're never gonna get the grades to qualify for one of those spots. You're not smart enough, sweetie.
Wait, am I on glue, or did we not get into the same law school, Warner?
But then when she got into law school and then got put on a case, people then came back and said, she's not gonna win that case. She's just not smart enough. She's not gonna win that case.
Enjoy prison.
But it was because she had such strong confidence in her ability, her skill, and what she wanted. She had a fitting mindset. She had the right mindset. And that mindset allowed her to try applying for law school, to try winning that case. So without worrying about being seen, without worrying about being judged, she went for it and she won. She got into law school and she won.
You weren't washing your hair, as I suspect you weren't, because your curls are still intact. Wouldn't you have heard the gunshot? And if in fact you had heard the gunshot, Brooke Wyndham wouldn't have had time to hide the gun before you got downstairs, which would mean that you would have had to have found Mrs. Wyndham with a gun in her hand to make your story plausible. Isn't that right? You, however, had time to hide the gun, didn't you, Chutney? After you shot your father.
I didn't mean to shoot him. I thought it was you walking through the door.
Order, order. Order.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bailiff, take the witness into custody where she will be charged.
She literally got into law school, won the case, became valedictorian and graduated with honors, and got accepted into a law firm. While the ex that was sitting there telling her that she wasn't smart enough didn't graduate with any honors. Doesn't that just go to show that sometimes people's opinions and people's perceptions of your own ability and your own skill don't matter? You are the one that knows your ability very well. You are the one that knows your skills very well because you know you. Okay? If you believe the opinions and the understandings of other people, it's because you don't know yourself that well. And you need to get to know yourself that well. And now we're going to get into the homework chapter where I'm going to give you guys practical tips to implement so that you can get out of your way and stop being your biggest enemy. So what things can you do now to stop being your biggest enemy? Task number 1. Take out a piece of paper, open up the notes app on your phone and make a list of everything that you're good at. Everything that you're good at and everything that you can do. If you can't think of any, think some more. There is something that you're good at and write that down. It can be anything, big or small. Write it down and put it up somewhere where you can see it. It could be your bedroom wall, it can be your ceiling. This way, you'll remind yourself that you are a talented individual or a smart individual, etc., which will build up a positive self-perception and enforce it. But you also remind yourself of times where you have succeeded at something, which enforces a mindset of unlimited possibilities and expanding beliefs rather than a mindset built from fear and limited beliefs. Task number 2, whenever you're doing or trying something that's difficult for you or that you didn't get it the first time round, and that negative thought of, I'm not smart enough, or I can't do this, or I'm never gonna do it, comes up, as soon as you get a negative thought, say an opposite affirmation out loud. I'm gonna give you an example. If I'm studying for a maths test and one particular equation is really difficult for me and I'm getting frustrated and the negative thought of I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm not going to pass this test comes up, out loud I'm going to say I'm so smart, I'm going to get this equation if I just work a little bit harder, I'm going to pass that test and I'm going to do so well. Negative thought comes, I say an opposite affirmation out loud. A negative thought comes, you say an opposing affirmation out loud. And the last task that I'm going to give you guys to do is to do one thing that scares you every single week. If you're scared of being seen trying, do a dance class. Do a dance class. You can be at the back of the class, but you'll be in the class and people will watch you dance. But because you're around other people that are also trying, it won't be that big of a deal because everybody is there, everybody is in the same position as you, everybody is trying to learn this brand new dance for the first time. It's a level playing field. Maybe your abilities, maybe your dance levels are a little bit different, but you're all learning this dance for the first time. You were all babies to this dance. And so therefore, little by little, you will be conquering your fear of being seen. Guys, exposure therapy, exposure therapy, exposure therapy. That is the biggest point of this last task. It can be small, it can also be big, but this will help with whatever fear, whether it's the fear of trying or the fear of being seen trying. Once you do this, then your goals will not seem so out of reach and will also not seem daunting. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope that you guys are taking the necessary steps to get yourself out of your own way and to stop being your own biggest enemy. And let me know what your exposure therapy activity is for this week. If you also want to know how to act confident, faith your confidence till you make it, and how to not make small mistakes that will sniff you out as someone that has low confidence coming from someone who used to be a pretender, click this link and it will take you to the video where I let you guys know how to have your lack of confidence not be sniffed out by a former pretender. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.